I'm 43, and my wife just turned 42 last month. We'd been married for 9 years when this all went down. My wife worked as a real estate agent, mostly residential properties. I'm a courier for a private company. We both did pretty well for ourselves, had a nice house, 2 cars paid off, and what I thought was a solid marriage. She'd been talking about getting the new iPhone for weeks. Her phone was 3 years old, battery was shot, and she kept complaining about how slow it ran. The new model had just dropped, and she asked if I could handle the trade in process for her, since she had back to back showings all weekend. It was a Wednesday night. We were sitting on the couch watching some Netflix show I can't even remember now. She asked if I could take her phone to Apple for her, told me she'd already reset it and deleted everything, said it was charging in the bedroom and should be good to go. I told her no problem. I had Saturday afternoon free anyway, and the Apple store was right near the gym I went to. I figured I'd knock out both errands in one trip. Friday came and went. Normal day. She had 3 showings lined up and said she'd be home late because one of her clients was super picky and wanted to see properties in the next county. I ordered Chinese takeout, watched the game, and went to bed around 11. She got home around midnight, kissed me, and said the showings went well. Saturday morning, I hit the gym early, got back around noon, showered, and grabbed her phone from the nightstand where it was charging. The thing was at 100%, just like she said. The Apple store was packed when I got there. Weekend crowd, families with kids running around. People crowded around the display tables. I checked in at the front and got told it would be about a 20-minute wait. No big deal. I stood there scrolling through my own phone, checking work emails, just killing time. Finally, this young guy with a man bun and an Apple shirt waves me over. Nice kid, probably fresh out of college. He asked what I needed, and I told him I wanted to trade in my wife's old iPhone for the new one. He said great, that he just need to verify the phone's condition and check that it had been reset properly. I handed it over and watched him turn it on. That's when everything changed. The screen lit up, and immediately these messages started flooding in. Not just one or two, I'm talking dozens. The notification sounds were going off like a machine gun. She hadn't reset a damn thing, either lied about it completely or just didn't reset it properly and thought that was good enough. Either way, the phone was still logged into all her accounts. The Apple kid's eyes went wide. He looked at the screen, then at me, then back at the screen. His face turned bright red. I grabbed the phone from his hand. Before he could say anything, the messages were from a guy who was apparently very familiar with my wife, just saved as a first name in her contacts. And they were not subtle, very explicit, talking about how last night was amazing, how he couldn't stop thinking about her when he could see her again, asking if her husband was still out of town. My stomach turned into knots. I stood there in the middle of the Apple store, surrounded by families shopping for iPads, while my world fell apart. The Apple kid looked like he wanted to disappear. He apologized, said he didn't mean to, but I cut him off, told him it wasn't his fault, and that I needed to leave. I walked out, just left, still had her phone in my hand, didn't trade in anything, didn't talk to anyone, just walked straight out into the parking lot, sat in my car for I don't know how long. Could have been 10 minutes, could have been an hour. Just sat there staring at this phone, reading message after message. I scrolled up through everything, hundreds of messages, going back months, almost a full year if the timestamps were right. They met for lunch last week, coffee on Wednesday morning. She'd sent him photos, ones I definitely didn't take, in lingerie, and she has never worn this outfit for me. He sent her photos too, shirtless gym selfies, pictures of his apartment, one of them together at some restaurant, her sitting in his lap, both of them laughing. I kept reading, couldn't help myself. Messages about me, about how I worked too much, how I didn't appreciate her, how he made her feel alive again. Messages about meeting up when I was supposedly at work late, when I was at my brother's place watching football, when I went to that 3-day conference in Boston last month. She lied about the showings, about the picky clients, about working late, all of it, everything. There was a message from 2 nights ago when she'd asked me to handle the trade-in. She told him that I was taking her phone to Apple tomorrow and that it was a good thing she reset it. Except she clearly didn't reset it. She just thought she had. Or she did reset it and then logged back in to make sure everything was working, not thinking about the messages that would come through. His response said it was a close call, that he missed her already, and asked about tomorrow night. She said she couldn't because I'd be home, but suggested Sunday afternoon instead because I had that poker thing at 2. She was right. I did have poker with my buddies on Sunday. Had it every other weekend for the past 5 years. He asked if they should meet at her place or his. She said his, said it was safer. The thing about betrayal is that it rewrites your history. Every good memory suddenly becomes suspicious. Every late night at work, every girl's trip, every time she said she loved me, all of it got contaminated by this new truth. We had sex 2 days ago. She'd initiated it. She was enthusiastic about it. And the whole time, she's been sleeping with this other guy. How do you do that? How do you kiss your husband, make love to your husband, tell your husband you love him while carrying on a year-long affair? My phone started ringing. It was her, calling to check if the trade-in was done probably. I didn't answer. She called again. I turned off my phone and just drove. Didn't know where I was going. Just drove. Still had her phone sitting in my passenger seat. I ended up at my buddy's place. He answered the door holding a beer. One look at my face and he knew something was seriously wrong. I told him everything, showed him the messages, watched his face go from confused to angry to sympathetic in about 30 seconds. He let me crash on his couch that night. I couldn't go home, couldn't face her, not yet. I spent that evening taking screenshots of everything on her phone, every message, every photo, every piece of evidence, saved them to my phone, made sure I had copies of everything before the phone died completely. My wife called 17 times that Saturday evening, left voicemails that went from concerned to confused to angry, asking where I was, if something happened at the Apple store, why I wasn't answering, saying this wasn't funny and to call her back, that she was getting worried, then demanding I call her. Sunday morning, I woke up on my buddy's couch with a headache and a new plan. I needed to handle this smart, document everything properly, talk to a lawyer before making any moves. My friend made coffee while I laid out my strategy. I would go home, act normal, and play this carefully, no tipping my hand until I had everything in place. He asked if I was sure I wanted to do it that way. Why not just confront her now? I told him I needed to protect myself legally. We own a house together, have joint accounts. I can't just blow up on her without a plan. Plus, I had her phone. She would be desperate to get it back. I could use that. I got home around noon on Sunday. Her car was in the driveway. I sat in my car for a few minutes, her phone still sitting there dead in my cup holder, rehearsing what I'd say. She practically attacked me when I walked through the door, demanding to know where I'd been. I didn't answer my phone all day yesterday, that she thought something terrible had happened. I told her my phone died and I forgot my charger, that I was at my buddy's place working on his deck project and crashed there, lost track of time. She stared at me hard, trying to figure out if I was lying. Then she asked about her phone. Where was it? Did I trade it in? I told her the Apple store was insane. The wait was over 2 hours and I just left. Said I'd go back during the week when it was less crowded. I watched relief wash over her face, but then panic set in. She asked where her phone was now. I told her it was still in my car, that the battery had died and I hadn't charged it, that I'd grab it in a bit. She said she needed it now. I went out to my car, grabbed her dead phone, and brought it inside, handed it to her, and watched her rush to plug it in. The moment that phone turned on and all those messages were right there, I watched her face go pale. Then she glanced at me, but I pretended to be on my phone so she couldn't see my face, then at the phone, and quickly walked into the other room. She had no idea I'd already seen everything, that I spent the entire night reading through her affair, taking screenshots, building my case. That night, I couldn't sleep. She was lying next to me, breathing deeply, completely unaware that I knew everything. She thought she had dodged a bullet when she got her phone back and could delete whatever messages had come through. But I already had it all. Monday morning, I called my boss and told him I needed a personal day, and he approved it. I called the divorce attorney right then. The attorney was a woman who looked to be in her 50s. She handled my coworker's divorce 2 years ago. I showed her everything, the screenshots, the photos, the timeline, hundreds of messages going back almost a year. She took notes, asked questions, and finally leaned back in her chair. Told me this might be a pretty solid case since I had the text messages. I said I wanted out, clean, fast. She asked about kids. I said no. She said that it makes it simpler. Asked if I wanted to try to keep the house. I thought about it. The house we'd bought together 5 years ago. The house where she'd probably brought this guy while I was at work. I told her no, she could have it. I'd buy something else. The attorney acknowledged me, said we need to document everything thoroughly, that she would prepare the papers. In the meantime, I should act normal and not tip my hand. So that's what I did. I played the role of loving husband while planning my exit. I took care of all the financial stuff right away. Started moving money there, nothing huge, just enough to have something separate. I already had all the screenshots saved and just offloaded them from my phone to my removable hard drive. That Sunday, I told my wife I was going to poker like usual. She kissed me goodbye, told me to have fun, and said she was going to catch up on some paperwork. I knew better. Her messages from the week before and had talked about Sunday afternoon. This was it. Instead of going to poker, I parked about 100 yards down the street behind another car. Sure enough, at 2:47 p.m., a dark green Ford pickup pulled up to my house. The guy from the photos got out, looked around like he was in a spy movie, and walked up to my front door. My wife opened it before he could knock. She was wearing a dress I'd bought her for our anniversary last year. They kissed on my front porch, right there where the neighbors could see. Then they went inside. I took photos of everything. His car, the timestamp showing it was 2:47 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon when I was supposed to be playing poker. I sat in my car the whole time, just sitting there watching my house, thinking about what was happening inside it. He left at 5:04 p.m., kissed her goodbye at the door again. She waved as he drove off. I waited 15 minutes, then drove home like I was coming back from poker. She was on the couch, hair still wet from the shower, watching TV. Asked me how poker was. I told her it was good, that I won $40. She said that was nice, then mentioned she was thinking we should order pizza for dinner because she didn't feel like cooking. We ate pizza. We watched TV. We went to bed. She fell asleep easily. The next morning, Monday, I went back to the attorney's office. I showed her the photos from Sunday, the timestamps, everything. She said this was more than enough, that she'd have papers drawn up by Wednesday. Asked how I wanted to do this. I said serve her at work, that I would move out the same day. The attorney said that works and asked if Wednesday afternoon was good. I said perfect. I spent Tuesday packing. Not big stuff, just my personal things. Clothes, documents, the PlayStation, some books. I loaded everything into storage while my wife was at a showing. Found an apartment near my office, Small place, 1 bedroom, but it was mine. Signed the lease that afternoon. Wednesday morning came too fast. I got up, made coffee, and watched my wife get ready for work. I asked if it was a big day. She said just the usual showings and asked why. I told her no reason, that she looked nice. She smiled, kissed me, and left for work. At 2 p.m., the process server walked into her real estate office and handed her the divorce papers in front of her entire team. My attorney texted me at 2:03 p.m. saying it was delivered. I was already at my new apartment, unpacking boxes. My phone started ringing at 3:07 p.m. I didn't answer. The calls kept coming, 26 calls in 30 minutes. Then the text started, asking what this was, where I was, that we needed to talk right now, that this was insane, to call her back immediately, that I couldn't just do this, begging me to please call her, that she was coming home, demanding to know where I was. I turned off my phone and kept unpacking. Around 5 p.m., I turned it back on, but to my surprise, nothing. She went home and found half my stuff gone, had apparently lost it completely, according to a text from my neighbor, who was also kind of a friend. He asked if everything was okay, said my wife was in the front yard crying. No, everything was not okay, but it was going to be. My wife figured out I was serious when her calls kept going to voicemail. She tried calling from different numbers, her mother's phone, her sister's phone, even her co-worker's phone. I didn't answer any of them. Then she tried something different. She started texting me long paragraphs about how sorry she was, that she made a mistake, that he means nothing, that I'm the one she loves. Can we please try to work through this? Begging me not to throw away 9 years, that she would do anything. I finally responded the following morning with one text saying she had 3 months to refinance the house or sell it. After that, I was forcing the sale. Her response came immediately, an angry one. She said, "The hell with you then?" I said, "Okay." And then I told her I saw all of her messages to her boyfriend. There was a long pause. Then she asked if I had gone through her phone, making it sound like I was the one who did something wrong. The fact that she was trying to make me the bad guy was almost funny. I told her I tried to trade it in like she asked, that when the Apple guy turned it on, messages started flooding in, that I didn't go looking for anything. She handed me the evidence herself. Another pause, longer this time. Then she got really nasty and said she was glad she found a man who could satisfy her. I hung the phone up. We stopped talking to each other after that. She tried to call. I didn't answer. Then on Friday came more texts, calling me a coward for not talking to her face to face, saying I snuck around behind her back just like I was accusing her of doing, that at least she had the guts to admit what she did, that I was throwing away our marriage over nothing. For some reason, I snapped and finally told her not to text or call me anymore, call my lawyer if she had something to say to me. Saturday morning, I was walking out of the gym when I saw her car parked next to mine. She was leaning against it, arms crossed, looking like she'd been crying. She said we needed to talk. I said no, we don't. She insisted, said I owed her that much. I told her I didn't owe her anything, that if she wanted to talk, she could talk to her attorney or mine. She begged for just 5 minutes. Something in her voice made me stop. Maybe I needed closure too. Maybe I was curious about what possible excuse she could offer. I told her 5 minutes is all she had, in the parking lot. That's it. She said, okay, and pushed off from the car, started explaining how it began as nothing, that he was a client, that she showed him some condos downtown, that they just clicked. They started meeting for drinks after showings, then lunch during the day sometimes, then more. I cut her off, and then she started sleeping with him. She flinched and yelled and said it wasn't about me, that I didn't do anything wrong. I asked then why. She said she didn't know, that she just felt invisible, that I was always working, always tired, that we fell into this routine. He made her feel seen again. I told her that instead of talking to me about it, she had an affair for a year. She said she knew it was wrong. She wanted to end it so many times, but couldn't. I said it was because she didn't want to. She wiped her eyes, said she loved me, that this thing with the other guy wasn't real, that it was just. I interrupted her, told her not to insult me more than she already had. She asked what she could do to fix this. I said nothing, that there was nothing to fix, that she made her choice. She said she was choosing me, that she was choosing me now. I told her she couldn't choose me now, that she should have chosen me when he first asked her to go out for drinks, when he first texted her, when she first lied about where she was, that she had 1,000 chances to choose me, and she didn't. She was full on crying now, begging me not to do this. I said I didn't do this. She did. That when she told me she reset that phone, she either lied or was careless. Either way, she handed me the truth herself. She said she couldn't lose me. I told her she already did. A year ago. She just didn't tell me. I walked past her toward her to my car. She called after me, but I didn't turn around. The divorce process took 9 months total, faster than most, according to my attorney. My wife tried everything, begging, anger, bargaining. She even tried to claim I'd abandoned her by moving out, which was laughable given the evidence. The affair partner disappeared from her life pretty quickly once things got messy. She ended up selling the house, couldn't afford it on her own, and I wasn't about to help with the mortgage. The final hearing was on a Wednesday in December. Cold day, gray sky, felt appropriate. We sat in the courtroom, feet apart but miles away from each other. The judge reviewed the paperwork, asked a few questions, and granted the divorce. Just like that. 9 years dissolved in 15 minutes. Afterward, she tried to approach me outside the courthouse, asked if we could at least be friends. Eventually, I looked at her and told her, no, we couldn't, and I walked away. That was almost 9 months ago. I'm doing okay. Actually better than okay. The apartment turned into a condo I actually bought. My ex tried to reach out a few times on social media. I blocked her. Last I heard through mutual friends, she's single. The weirdest part is how normal it all feels now. Like that marriage happened to someone else. Like I'm watching a movie of my old life instead of living in it. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if she'd actually reset that phone properly, if the messages had been deleted, if I just traded it in without seeing anything. Would I still be living that lie? How long would it have gone on? I don't know. And honestly, I'm glad I'll never find out. The truth destroyed my marriage, but it also freed me. And standing here now, in my own place, living my own life, I can finally say I'm grateful. Grateful I found out. Grateful I got out. Grateful I trusted my gut and didn't let her manipulate me into staying. Some of my friends asked why I didn't try to work it out. Marriage counseling, therapy, all that. But here's the thing. Once you've seen those messages, once you know your spouse was planning their next hookup while kissing you goodbye, there's no coming back from that. She didn't make one mistake. She made hundreds of choices every single day for a year to betray me. That's not something you fix with counseling. So, yeah, that's my story. The story of how an iPhone trade-in at the Apple store ended my marriage. Would I have rather not known? Hell no. The truth might hurt, but lies hurt worse. And now I'm free to find someone who will choose me every single day. Not just when it's convenient. Not just when they think I'll find out. Every single day. That's what I deserve. That's what we all deserve. And I'm not settling for anything less ever again. As Tony always says, don't ever let someone make a fool out of you.